For those of you that may not know me, I am Dr. Seth Gilson, and welcome to the very first introductory episode of The Art of Mindful Medicine, an introduction to your health and wellness practitioners by myself, the Mindful Doctor. So I will briefly introduce myself and tell you who I am to get started. I am a dentist in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Since 2011, I practice biological dentistry, and I am also a certified yoga teacher. I was a competitive athlete most of my life. I played Division I soccer in college. I've been part of a published medical research. I've shadowed in departments such as the ER, OR, and the ICU at two of the largest hospitals in Florida. Three things that I'm grateful for today. I always like to start with gratitude. I think gratitude is a beautiful, amazing practice. It's something that has been showed through studies to actually benefit us greatly internally as well as externally. So three things that I'm grateful for today are, of course, my health, the support of my family and friends that I have around me, as well as the community that we have. I've seen a lot of enhanced strength of the community that we belong to in the past few weeks, and I think that's a beautiful, amazing thing, and I want to help that keep growing. So I encourage you to have a daily gratitude practice. There are many, many, many benefits to it. Just try it out and see. So as a disclaimer, I always have to do this. I have to say that nothing on this show is meant to be received as medical advice, and to always consult your personal medical providers for your individual care. The things I and others will be discussing here on this show are based on personal experiences and research. And I would also like to let you know to stay tuned at the end of the show, because that's when I'm going to announce my very, very special first guest for the show. So stay tuned to the end for that, please. This will be a shorter version of the show, just because it's just an introduction. But I'm very excited about that, the first guest. So you may have heard me mention biological dentistry if you were here at the beginning of the show. I wanted to explain what that is, because most doctors and even dentists don't even know what biological dentistry is. Biological dentistry is not a specialty. It is a practice philosophy, which is applied to all aspects of dentistry as well as healthcare. The philosophy is based on the recognition of essential connections between oral health and overall health, as well as constantly seeking research-based methods of providing the safest and least toxic ways to accomplish the goals of modern dentistry and contemporary healthcare. So basically what that means is we look at oral health and we look at overall health and see how they're linked, because they all play off of each other. They are influenced by one another. That does make sense, I would imagine, to most people. The mouth is the gateway to the rest of the body. It's the gateway to our digestive tract. There's much research that's been coming out over the recent years showing how digestive and gastrointestinal health are directly linked to our overall health as well as brain health. And what's happening in the mouth influences what's happening in the body, and what's happening in the body influences what's happening in the mouth. So if you think about it, everything is connected. If you have a cut or wound on your foot, you're going to take care of it, right? You're going to go to the doctor there because it can become a problem. The mouth's no different. If you have an infection in your mouth, if you have constant inflammation in your mouth, it is something that will affect your overall health, and it does need to be addressed. So this is the premise of what biological dentistry is, and we know that through research that inflammation is the root of these diseases, and how it affects our immune system, which is very significant to what's going on right now in the world. Is inflammation causes disease. And when you have inflammation in the mouth, you can imagine your immune system like a bunch of little universal soldiers, for lack of a better term. And they go and they mobilize to where the inflammation or where the disease is. And then when you have other things going on in the body, other toxins or other diseases or other injuries that you're exposed to, the immune system then has to respond to those things. So the more stress you put on the immune system, the more difficult it is to help heal. So that's the premise of what's going on in biological dentistry, why it exists, and why I practice it. And I also wanted to just point out there that at the end of this show, I'm also going to provide a phenomenal resource that is very beneficial for our immune systems and overall health, which is also very important for, like I said, very important for what's going on right now in the world. So now that you know a little bit who I am, what is this? What is this show? Where did it come from? And why did I start doing it? I started the Mindful Doctor Project about 1.5 years ago. Initially, my whole thought process was to inspire personal growth and mindfulness in medicine and overall life, honestly. Like I said earlier, I've been involved in research. I've shadowed in hospitals, been in dental school. I've heard individual testimonials, and I've put all this together, and we need more mindfulness in medicine. It is absolutely necessary. Research is showing how beneficial mindfulness practices in life, not just in the hospital, even though I believe in medicine, the number one place mindfulness should be practiced is in medicine. But we have to learn that and apply that to all aspects of life in order to use it in medicine. That's not to take away from the good aspects of medicine, because we have brilliant and caring people doing absolutely amazing things in medicine, and there's fantastic technologies in medicine these days. But too often I hear stories that people are treated like a number, they receive suboptimal care, or even don't even have access to proper care, and that's a huge issue right now when people getting or needing the proper access to suitable care. The days of just popping a pill or simply treating symptoms is not the best that healthcare has to offer these days. We are well beyond that, and we need to take and make things more personal and break things down to a more personal level and have more personalized care. So through all the research and the shadowing in the hospitals, I always felt that there was something missing in medicine. It wasn't until I started my journey through yoga that I realized that what's been missing is true mindfulness. Mindfulness, to me, is a conscious, focused attention on the very present moment. And when you focus on the present moment, regardless of what you're doing, whether it's having a conversation, brushing your teeth, making dinner, eating dinner, driving your car, having a conversation, whatever it is, with whoever it is, be fully present in that moment. There's so much, now we've known this for thousands of years, but now there's research showing how important mindful practices are for our overall wellness and how beneficial they are to our overall wellness. Again, the number one place we should be practicing this is in medicine, and it starts outside in our own personal lives. And all of this comes from within. Mindfulness, it comes from within. You can't just learn it by watching a video. You can't just learn it by watching somebody else do it. There's nothing that you have to learn from within. And it's not always easy. It takes time, but just like any sort of sickness or illness, it takes time. It took X amount of time to get there. It's going to take time to heal these things as well. And another thing I'm constantly telling people that I meet or that I've known for a long time, we can only take care of others as well as we take care of ourselves. And that's why mindfulness is so important. We have to take care of ourselves so that we may better be able to take care of others. For example, a good analogy for that is on an airplane. God forbid you're ever on an airplane and the oxygen masks come down. What do they tell you to do? The first thing they tell you to do is put your mask on first and then help somebody else. because you can't help somebody else breathe if you're not breathing yourself. So if you're going to help somebody else be healthy, you need to know how to take care of yourself, and you need to actually do it. So yeah, like I said, you have to be healthy in order to help others and show others how to be healthy. And this is what I'm promoting for healthcare, is to be better to ourselves so that we can provide better care for others. It doesn't only, like I said before, it doesn't only apply to healthcare. The majority of this work is done on your own. And what I've personally found is that when we peel away all of the layers, the root cause of the problems, not just in healthcare, it could be personal relationships, it could be a business relationship, it could be an illness, but there's a significant lack of self-love and self-care. If we're not willing to put in the energy and effort into our own health, into our own relationships, how can we advise or make recommendations to others to do something like that? This is something we'll get into a little bit more in future episodes on the show. Like I said, this is just an introduction to show you all who I am, what this show is going to be about, and what I'm doing it for. So on that point, in future episodes, what am I going to be doing? I'm going to be having conversations, interview-style conversations with other health and wellness practitioners on a wide variety of topics, from gut health, brain health, hormone health, yoga, meditation, whatever it is overall health. My main goal really is to allow you, the audience, and patients, because essentially at some point in time, we're all patients, right? My goal is to allow you to see who these people are, to introduce you to the medical professionals, to introduce you to the doctors, to introduce you to the nurses, to introduce you to the staff, whether it's at a hospital, a clinic, whatever it is. Don't you feel more comfortable if you go somewhere and you know something about that person, rather than just picking them off of a list that your insurance company provided for you? I think that's a better way to make connections, and it would make me feel more comfortable. I mean, I know how uncomfortable it was for me to just go to a random doctor for the first time, because I know nothing about that person. Yes, it's amazing when people are brilliant and have connections, and not just connections, credentials, because a lot of people have credentials. A lot of us in the medical field have great credentials, but who's the person? Who's the person when they take off the white coat? Who's the person 10 years ago, 15 years ago? Who was the person in school? I want you to learn about these people. Learn about the people that you're getting advice from, because that's how you connect with them. If you can connect with somebody without even having to meet them, without having to take your time, spend money, and to be like, oh, I really didn't like that person. This way you can connect with people before you even have to spend $1. You can take an hour a week, because that's all this show is really going to be, an hour a week, to connect with different providers. And it doesn't necessarily have to be someone that you go to see as a patient. It could just be somebody that you see online, and you like who they are, and you like what they do, and you make a connection with them, and you follow them, and you can get a lot of really great advice from people online on social media nowadays. I've made a lot of really awesome connections with a lot of really awesome people that are brilliant. I mean brilliant, and they know a lot about the most amazing topics. I mean, there's just some articles I've been reading that people have written, some research that's being done that is absolutely fantastic. It's so important to know who these people are to create those connections. So that's really what this show is predominantly about. So you can meet us, meet the practitioners, meet the doctors and the nurses and the other people in healthcare that are here to provide for you. So that way you get to make an educated and thoughtful decision about who you want to connect with. That, to me, connections are what, it's very healing for us to be connected. It helps build community. And when you can connect with somebody and they're going to provide health advice for you, and you know something about them, you know that's someone that they practice it at home themselves, that's really important. And I don't think there's, you can put a dollar value on something like that. So that's what the show is essentially about. I did say earlier on that I was going to share a resource with everybody that I have now partnered with, that I am a part of, that promotes health, wellness, and immune strength, which is something that's very, very important right now in our society and throughout the world. And this is a company that has been around for many, many, many years, and they have tons and tons of research studies, clinical research studies, third-party testing, and it is all proven to work. And that company is Juice Plus. So I'll get that nice and close so everybody can see. I'm not going to get into too much right now on what that is, but please contact me individually if this is something you're interested in. Their motto is real nutrition, real simple, and that's what it is. It is real nutrition, real simple, because it is all fruits and vegetables, and there's even an omega blend now that they've put together, and it's basically bridging the gap between what we actually eat, or what we actually eat and what we should be eating, because each servings of this is 20 to 30 fruits and vegetables in a serving, and let's be honest, we don't get 20 or 30 vegetables or fruits and vegetables in a day. None of us do. That's extremely beneficial, and there's tons and tons and tons of research on how beneficial fruits and veggies and a whole foods plant-based diet is on our overall health, especially immunity. Okay, so that part's done. Please contact me individually. You can direct message me on Instagram. You can find me on Facebook. You can email me. My email is mindful.doctor1@gmail.com. That's mindful.doctor1@gmail.com. My website is linked on my profile, so you can always go on there. And if you forget, not a big deal. Please feel free to reach out for anything at all. I'm always available. I'm happy to get your messages so I can respond. And like I said, if you missed any part of this episode, it is going to be reposted. So don't feel like you missed out on something. It's going to be reposted on my account, as well as on Facebook, and a brand new YouTube channel as soon as I figure out how all that works, because I've never done it before. But I promise you, it will be on there. You will be able to watch this again if you want to. Not a problem at all. I'm also very open to you, because this is for you. Whoever's watching this is absolutely for you. I'm open to your commentary, questions, suggestions. If there's someone you want to possibly see on the show, please let me know. I'm open to different topics. I'm open to whatever you guys want to hear about. Let me know. And like I said, the biggest one is if you have somebody in particular you want on the show, let me know. I will reach out to them. I will pester them until they decide that they want to do this. Lastly, the big announcement. My big announcement for the show is the first guest. So it will be next, again, same time, same place, next Saturday. It's going to be every Saturday at 12 p.m. The Art of Mindful Medicine's first guest is going to be none other than my mom. And that's very special for me. And you might be thinking, well, why my mom? Because she's an ICU nurse. She's been an ICU nurse since before I was born. And she is, beyond talented. Credentials, she has an Associate of Sciences in Nursing. She's a Bachelor of Sciences in Nursing. She has a Master's of Science in Nursing, and she has a doctoral degree in nursing. So she's now the nurse clinician at one of the largest hospitals in Florida in the ICU, which is the intensive care unit. And just last year, she received her doctoral degree in nursing. So what all that basically means is that now I get to call her doctor as well. So Dr. Gilson will be on next week in addition to Dr. Gilson. My mom has been my inspiration in the health sciences and wellness journey that I've been on. She is amazingly brilliant and an extraordinarily talented person. Who else? Do you know somebody that can, for your entire life, undercook a quiche, but the next morning go and save somebody's life? That's extraordinary for me. But no. But in all honesty, she is really brilliant. She's actually a very good cook too. But for whatever reason, the quiches always get away from her. And an even better baker. So, Mom, if you're still watching, it was just a joke. But you need to work on the quiches. So I'm going to leave you all with a quote. I'm big on quotes. This is a very, very relevant quote to what's going on right now. And it's by, and many of you have probably heard it. The quote is by Thomas Edison. "The doctor of the future will give no medicine, but will instruct his patient in the care of the human frame, in diet, and in the cause and prevention of disease." So think about that. Again, if you came in late, I'm going to be reposting this video. It's going to be on Facebook. It's going to be on my YouTube channel. You can go and watch the whole thing there again. Tune in next Saturday at 12 for my first guest, Dr. Gilson, ICU nurse since before I was born. And stay awesome, stay mindful. Have an awesome day, everybody.